Hi, in this tutorial you will find out how to knit in a circle without jumps between your stripes. I will start with how it looks in general, then we'll go to general techniques and what you need for this to work out for your project, and then I will go into details how you will knit first two stripes when you change the color. In case of if you are just adding new color, the yarn is not connected, and in the case of alternating the color if your yarn is connected to your project already. And in the end, you will see the shortcut how to make this process way faster. I will recommend you to go through all the steps, through all the video before you implement this technique in your project. Happy knitting!
Final look. I'm knitting cardigan. It has stripy sleeves, knitted in circle. Here is the underarm, and here you can see sleeves reductions. There is no jump where the color changes. Details of the technique. I'm knitting on circular needles. They separate my work in two places, in the beginning of the row and the half of the stitches of the sleeve, for comfortability. This place indicates the beginning of the row. It is slightly moved to the left of the marker which indicates underarm. Underarm marker, all beginning of the row. You add and remove stitches always before after this marker. Separated by needles, new beginning of the row, where you change the colors. The new beginning of the row will move one stitch to the left. You always need to keep track of the old beginning of the row. For the stitch reductions, put a marker here. And the new beginning of the row, for row and stitch count. You can also put a marker here or use long circular needles to mark it. The move of the beginning of the row will not be visually perceived on the sleeve. How to adding new yarn. First row. Slightly pull the previous yarn. Now I'm changing color to knit two rows with yellow-green yarn. Separated by needle, new beginning of the row. Start knitting the row with the new yarn. I will speed up the process. Underarm marker. I pass the underarm marker, from the left needle to the right needle and continue knitting to the end of the row, to the last stitch on the left needle. Pull the needles through. The last stitch of the first row. Pull the yarns, all three of them, and instead of knitting in the first stitch of yellow-green yarn, I knit in dark green stitch, which is one row below. Pull the right needle through the newly made stitch. Drop the old stitch from the left needle. Now we have first stitch and the last stitch of the first row. And this is separated by needles, new beginning of the row. Second row. Knit second row as you normally would. First stitch of the second row. Continue knitting until the underarm marker. I will speed up. Underarm marker. I pass the underarm marker, from the left needle to the right. and continue knitting to the end of the row, to the last stitch which is left on the left needle. Pull the threads, all 3 of them. To eliminate gaps, second row is done. How to existing yarn, first row. After 2 yellow-green rows, I need to knit 4 rows with dark green color. I didn't cut the dark green color yarn. Pull all 3 yarns. These eliminate gaps. Put the new yarn, dark green, over the yarn you've just worked with, yellow-green yarn. You are crossing 2 yarns to eliminate gaps. Start knitting the row with a new color, dark green. Knit till the underarm marker. I will speed up the process. Underarm marker. I pass the underarm marker, pass the marker from the left needle to the right needle, and continue knitting all the remaining stitches of the row to the last stitch on the left needle. Pull the needles through. The last stitch of the first row. Pull the yarns, all 3 of them. And instead of knitting in the first stitch of dark green yarn, I knit in the yellow-green stitch, which is 1 row below. You can drop the stitch from the left needle. Pull the right needle through the new stitch. Now we have the first and the last stitch of the row. Second row. First stitch of the second row. Knit all the stitches as you normally would. Pass the underarm marker from the left needle to the right needle and continue knitting all the stitches left on the left needle. We finished the second row. Sleeve reduction. In my third row, I need to make a stitch reduction. Underarm marker. Knit until 2 stitches are left before the underarm marker. Knit them together. Pass the underarm marker from the left needle to the right needle. Knit 2 stitches together. Reductions are always done before and after the underarm marker. Changing colors. So I finished the 4th row of dark green yarn and I'm going to change back to yellow-green yarn. I didn't cut the yellow-green yarn from the previous rows because there were only 4 rows of the other yarn, dark green. First, I'm going to pull all the yarns. These eliminate gaps. I'm placing the yellow-green yarn over the dark green yarn of the previous row. The important thing here is to pull the yellow-green yarn more than normal, because you are going to undo the first stitch. It will loosen up the yarn. So to avoid gaps, you need to tighten this yarn slightly before you knit the first stitch. Tight stitch. As you can see, dropping this stitch loosens the yarn. The shortcut. I finished knitting the first row with dark green yarn. I need to knit the last stitch of the first row. I knit the last stitch before pulling the needles through. Now pull the needles through and drop the stitch from the left needle. First stitch and last stitch. Separated by needles, this becomes the new beginning of the row. This is how it looks outside and inside.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope this technique helped you. I will highly appreciate thumbs up and happy knitting. Bye!